Okay, so very good evening to all of you. So we had stopped at a place where we are supposed to start with Mahatanhak Sankhya Sutta. Has anybody gone through it?
Yes,
Okay, so any experience?
yeah, I understood that the fire concept that you said, light,
Yes.
Vijnana is the light. Yeah, that I gone through.
Okay, so let us go through together. Let me open that. Okay, the main thing in
And
this,
also Sati from yeah,
what's that?
yeah, nothing. I was just explaining. I was going through the Sati's confusion about I am the Vijnana. Kind of his question is same, and
Correct.
Buddha keeps on repeating that I have never told that later.
Yes. So now he gives an example, so you should actually get an aha moment here. That is, when we say I consciousness, it is just consciousness. It is just consciousness. But when it is connected to I and sight, it becomes I consciousness. So you have to define it that way. So it is sankhayam. Sankhaya is reckoning, adding, joining, making. All these are words to depict Sankhya. Is Sankhya, numbered. So when two things come together, they are numbered, they are defined, they are added, they are put into, called as I conscious. So three portions: I, sight, conscious. I is not conscious, sight is not conscious. When I and sight come together, there is the fire which starts. It lights up at both the places, at the eye and at the sight. And hence, it's called as eye consciousness. So if I go down, it says Katancha Paticha Aggi Jalati Kattaggi Dveva Sankhayam Gachati. Katti is log. In Kannada, we have Kattige, same word as what is here. Kattancha, Paticha, dependent on the log. If there were to be a fire, just a fire, but it is attached to the log, so what would you call? You call it a log fire because it's dependent on the log. So the question were to be asked is, can the log and the fire be separated out? No. As long as the fuel remains, that log remains, it's going to burn. Either the fuel has to be doused, or the fuel doused in sense there's no further fuel. That means the air coming and then spreading it out is not there, and the log is wet, and there's no fire. Just like a matchbox and a stick, in the new way of seeing it is that the matchbox by itself doesn't have light, The stick by itself doesn't have a light. Even if I buy a lighter by itself doesn't have, there's a fuel is there, but unless I do something about it, it doesn't light. So it is dependent, but it's still just consciousness arising, but it is dependent on a condition. This is what he informs to Sati, that it's not this will go into new life and keeps on continuing. But if there is condition created, then it will go to the next life or whatever you want to take it as. But it is not something which will automatically go. But still it is just the consciousness. It cognizes. So what it cognizes? It knows. Now the question comes, it knows what? Yesterday we were seeing that it knows this is sweet. If we go by the Kajjaniya Sutta, it doesn't know sugar, but it knows sweet. It doesn't know bitter, but it knows bitter, but it doesn't know coffee or anything like that. It doesn't know. So then who knows? Whatever you teach the mind, the knowing is there, which is something what is called as conceptual reality. So we conceptualize it. So there is an idea how you want to conceptualize, and then the person conceptualizes it. There's a concept. And based upon the concept, you start feeling this is true because everybody is talking about it. So then you first conceptualize and you start informing 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, and all of them would use the same language. Like when a child is born, you call everyone, and then there's a naming ceremony. In the naming ceremony, the child is named Vilas. The child doesn't know it is Vilas. Child has no idea of Vilas. Who is Vilas? What is Vilas? What is supposed to do? Nothing it knows. So the consciousness at that point to the consciousness now has been exactly doing the same thing. It doesn't change. It just recognizes the object and that's it. It helps in recognition. That is Chitta, Mano and Manasam. The remaining thing is added up based upon the Raga, Dvesha, Moha. So let's take this example of the child. The child is named, and after a while, the parent starts to call it by its name. Hey Vilas, 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 Vilas. And then it starts hearing Vilas, 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 Vilas. So, Sotancha Paticcha Saddeja Upajjati Sota Vinyanam. It's got nothing to do with Chakku Vinyana now. Something to do with Sota Vinyana. At any point in time, one Vinyana will work. If it is in the ears, sight is gone, sight is gone, touch is gone, taste is gone, smell is gone, thoughts are gone. Only that is there. If you observe keenly, you would be recognizing one thing at a time. But then we might say, yeah, I'm able to do multitasking. Yes, because if you take 6 bulbs, like a serial lamp, as soon as one switches off, it's still not completely switched off. So anything that can be lit up, then the second one, the third one, so it gives you a continuity effect, which looks really solid now. But if you see, what's happening is one bulb is going off and another bulb is coming up. One bulb is going off and the next one is coming up. And that bulb is going off and next bulb is coming up. But it comes in like a serial, so it's continuous. This is what is a Nitya Sanya actually all about in the Vijnana. So now when I really hear, when you're hearing, you can't be seeing. So people would ask, hey, what are you listening to? Say, hey, hold on, I'm listening to the music. Don't disturb me now. Why? If the person is disturbed, then he can't listen. If the person is seeing, let's say he is seeing some melody drama, and then he feels, hey, don't disturb me. I'm seeing, hey, come on, come to the side. I'm seeing. Why? Because the consciousness has got established there. Okay. So that is how we can see things that are happening. So one consciousness arises with the sight, one consciousness arises with the sound, one consciousness arises with the taste, one consciousness arises with the touch, one consciousness will arise with this, with the touch and smell, one consciousness arises with the thought. It's an individual consciousness which arises. And that's exactly what he explains in Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta. And this question, Bhuta. Bhuta is what is treated as real. Isn't it not you're seeing it? Vipshan, if you can mute your microphone. So, can you see this has come to be? Is in the English it says, mendicants, do you see that this has come to be? Bhutamidanti bhikkave passata iti. So anyone got a aha moment when you were reading this sutta? If yes, then you would have understood Vijnana. Or when I am explaining, anyone getting an aha moment? Now I understand. Okay. Anyone? No answer? So this is what we need to practice. Oh, now question comes, what we need, what is exactly I need to practice? What's on Vijnana I need to practice? The Vijnana I need to practice is to observe these two. Eye on one side, sight on the other. Ear on the one side, sound on the other. Tongue on the one side, the taste on the other. Body on the one side, touch on the other. Nose on the one side, smell on the other. Mind on one side, thoughts on the other. They both have nothing to do with anyone. Now this consciousness, when it connects, it gives an impression that it is established in the eye, it is established in the object also. Yes, Ashutosh.
Sir, I want to ask you one thing. As you are saying that when we are watching some object, eye is we have to put eye on the one side and the sight on the other side. Okay, so it is very difficult to understand it because whenever I think, like mind is one side and the thought is another side, I consider thought as a mind. Mind means thought, correct? So how can I separate mind with the thought?
Before you understand mind with the thought, you should have penetrated at least one indriya, or rather one ayatana. Can be anyone, can be the eyes or ears or nose or tongue or body. One of it you should be able to see it like this. If you have not, then it becomes very difficult to understand Vijnana. Meaning, understand in the sense you might understand it theoretically, intellectually, but experience wise, you would not know what is Vijnana. Because we always all along saying that it knows. Then it comes what it knows. The nose knows the scent. You don't have to teach it, hey, nose, I'm telling you, just take the scent. No. As soon as the scent comes, as soon as the nose is there, consciousness is going to connect both of them. Then there is an experience of the smell in the experiencer nose, not anywhere else. The smell is not experienced in the mouth. The smell is not experienced in the eye. The smell is not experienced in the ear. The smell is not experienced in the body. The smell is not experienced in the mind. It's experienced only in the nose. You don't go behind the smell. You don't take your nose and go behind the smell. The smell comes to the nose, not the other way around. But whenever the smell comes, the consciousness arises at that moment. As soon as the smell goes away, the consciousness departs. How many of you take bath?
I guess everyone does.
I don't know. They might be just pouring water on their body and coming. So when you take bath, do this. If you have a shower or you have a hand shower, you can watch this in action. How consciousness plays. You take your hand, start pouring water. Wherever the water is touching, the consciousness appears, and as soon as the water goes away, the consciousness disappears from there. Have you watched this?
Yes.
Yes.
So that means you have understood it. That's all. Yes, Ashutosh.
My question is, I can understand this, but I have felt all these things when I am seeing something, the eyes consciousness appears. When I'm listening to some sound, the ear uh, on the part of the conscious part of the ear is appearing. But how to separate? I can understand that the consciousness is appearing and it is going away, it is fading away. But to separate it, like when I am having thought, so I can see that thought is running in my mind and the thought has gone away. Then the next thought comes and it goes away. Then the next, like this is thoughts are coming and going. But how to separate thought with the mind? Mind,
No, no,
whenever
no.
there is a thought, then the mind will appear.
No, you first work out on the 5 sense doors. The 6th sense door automatically shuts. If you are working on the 6th sense doors without understanding the 5 senses, then you have a trouble.
Yeah, and thought is not mind actually.
Yes, it's Dhamma. All things. Whatever you call as a thing is a mind or Dhamma.
Otherwise, Chittanupasya and Dharmanupasya are same otherwise.
Yes. So don't take it as thoughts. In general, in English, it is called as thought. But if you take the Pali word, it is vitakka. But it is not called as vitakka. It is called as, or it is known as what? Dhamma.
Some people say Sankhara, some people say mental object Dhamma. Everyone has different.
Yes. So before we come to,
Vitaka is best.
yes, before we come to the mind and mind object, First, have proficiency in the five senses. Have you done that, Ashutosh?
Yes, sir, I have tried it, but I don't know whether I'm doing it in a right way or not. Like you told me to watch the space element,
No, no, no.
focusing on
Space
one
element is
element.
separate. No, no, that is separate. That is separate. Hold on. We are talking about consciousness. You came into space element. So that is a different thing altogether.
I can understand the like in Vedanta we say the seer and the seen, the both are separate, correct? The seen and the seen both are separate.
Correct.
So now we are talking about the one who is seeing the object, one who is experiencing.
Correct. So no, no. My question is simple.
So I cannot sense anything because all the sense door is closed now. So that time the
Ashutosh, we can't hear you. Ashutosh, can you
cannot
just
listen.
repeat what you said? I couldn't hear for at least 1 minute.
Uh, I said I cannot hear you properly. I guess some issue with my network. I'm not able to hear you, sir.
Now, is
Yes,
it?
yes, yes. Now, what I was saying,
Yes, go ahead. What you were saying.
can, huh. So what I was saying is that when we study Vedanta, in Vedanta we have like two things, seen and the seen. The seen and the seen, the drashta and the drish. So when the scene is there, when the individual consciousness is there, I can sense all the things. Like I can perceive the things like sight, sound, smell. When I'm sleeping, because the eye consciousness is not there, so I'm not able to perceive all the sets objects because the consciousness is not there. When the eye consciousness is there, I am able to perceive things that I can understand. Like you said, when we are taking bath, I can feel the touch of the water on my body. I can feel the touch of the sound on my ear. I can feel the touch of the sight on my eyes, and I can perceive things. But how to separate that when I am seeing something when I am hearing some sounds. So
No,
how
again you're
to
coming to thoughts.
separate both the scene and
No, 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 no. I don't know why you're again and again coming to the thought. You leave the thought aside.
okay, for
First,
that matter, keep it like yes.
yes, go ahead.
So suppose now we forget thought. Only we are working on the five senses like the smell, touch, and all these five senses. You said when I am feeling something, when I pour water on my body, I can feel the sensation of the water when I'm pouring it. Okay, when I'm listening some sound, I can feel the sense, the touch of the sound on my ear. Okay, when the consciousness, because without consciousness, if there is no consciousness, I will not be able to hear the sound. Like
No,
when we are sleeping,
Ashutosh, I understand all of that. Have you been able to experience consciousness?
that's what I am saying, sir. That I am not able to perceive it
Okay.
separately.
Okay. Not separately. Forget being separated out. With this example, what Buddha has given, are you able to penetrate?
Yes, that I can feel.
What you can
That I
feel?
can see. Like when the sense, like when my all the senses when with all my senses, when I'm able to perceive the sense object, that time I can feel that with eye I am seeing something, with eyes, with ear I am listening some sound. Now the sound has appeared, the eye consciousness has appeared, the ear consciousness has appeared, the sound has disappeared. So with the sound disappearing, my ear consciousness has also disappeared. That I can understand with experience.
No, 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 no. Did you understand the example? What is he giving? Did you get any aha moment in that example? What is he giving?
How I'm not able to perceive Vijnana in its totality.
Okay, fine, no worries. So let me explain to you what is the aha moment there. If you properly see, you will start seeing it like light. That's the example. What is he giving in Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta? The bhuta there is the fire, the light, aggi. Aggi is the fire. So he's giving a simile of a fire to explain to you what is the meaning of vijnana. What is vijnana? If somebody were to ask, it's like a light. So even in many suttas, he talks about the vijnana of an arhat. If somebody were to wanting to catch the vijnana of the arhat, he gives again example of a lamp getting off. And if you go to Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, he gives example of vijnana as in just like you do the smelting of gold when the gold shines. In the same way, the vijnana shines. So what you need to do, understand, is that it shines on both the seer and the seen. So when I say eyes are seeing, it means that the consciousness has caught both the eye and the sight.
Correct.
So he's saying here, his question is like this. Bhutamidanti bhikkave passatha iti. It has come, bhuta, it has happened. What has happened? It has taken a shape. The eye and the sight have taken shape, just like the logwood and the fire. And you're calling it as log fire. And then the fire that is burning dependent on the twigs. Yes.
So bhutam idam means the vijnana has bhutam, right? Now occurred.
Yes, it has happened. It has come to be. It has can be seen as manifested. Got it?
Yes, but Paksata, there is still a separation, right? There is still an independent entity which was there before Vijnana, which is there while Vijnana, and which will be there after Vijnana. Only then one can, I will not say perceive, I will say see the Vijnana.
What do you mean? I did not understand what you're trying to say.
The Vijnana arises and passes away. If I see that, then I am stable relative to it, right? I exist, I am not arising and passing. So, I am seeing the arising of the bhutamidam, arising of the vijnana based on ahara, fuel. But still I am separate, right? I am not arising with vijnana.
No, you have come to the other vijnana now. There are two vijnanas. So we are talking about this vijnana which is appearing in six senses.
Mano vijnana, okay.
No, not Mano Vijnana. Mano and Vijnana is part of, hold on, Ashutosh, 1 second. Mano Vijnana is also part of the six senses only.
Six senses only.
See, there are two Vijnanas. One Vijnana which gives life, another Vijnana which is in the six senses.
But in Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, it has clearly stated that Parisuddhen Mano Vijnanan. So I am always under the impression that Mano Vijnana is the consciousness.
There is no permanent consciousness in anything.
Okay.
Number one. Right? That is the conclusion what Sati gets into.
Yeah, exactly. because Manovinyana is also responsible for reflecting what Chakku Vinyana is bringing, what Sota Vinyana is bringing, as per Abhidhamma I am saying. So I always think that all these five senses coming and going, but Manovinyana is always cooperating, always along with them, and it's the Manovinyana which we purify, and that's what Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta says. Purify in the sense that it is independent of this five sense and it recognizes it as observer.
That is right. So first we have to get this. See, in the
Okay.
Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, he talks about 6 things as called as a person. When we say Puggala, is made out of 6 Dhaturo, 6 dhatus. So Pathavi Dhatu, Apo Dhatu, Tejo Dhatu, Vayo Dhatu, Akasa Dhatu, Vinyana Dhatu. In that sense, he says that this Vinyana is pure and bright. It has to be purified means what? You should do the Indriya Dwara. You have to, Indriya Gutta Dwara has to be closed. Even in the Samannapala Sutta, he talks about the same thing. It has to be closed. So first and foremost, we need to understand this Vinyana in these 5 senses. My question,
Yes, let us know. I agree. But still, I agree with Asutosh that I'm not able to see when you say the water is touching my body, Vinyana is there. I have also heard that someone's playing that so many Vinyana comes and goes, and I can see that they are coming and going. But still, seeing
So-
it is like Asutosh only I'm I'm flickering that how it is possible.
yes, yeah, Ashutosh, you had raised hand many number of times. Go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask you. Now you have already almost answered my question when you said that there are two kind of Vijnana existing with ourselves. One is life Vijnana, and then the second one is the sense Vijnana. That was my
No.
confusion. I was thinking. So now you are saying that the life Vijnana is observing both the Vijnana
No,
which are
no, no.
related to the. Yes, sir.
No,
Sachin sir,
no,
you want to say something?
he didn't say so. He didn't say so. Relax.
Okay, let's leave that other Vinyana aside. First, let's solve this problem of what is Vinyana. Then we will come to that. The 2 Vinyana are there, 100 Vinyanas are there, or every moment one Vinyana comes and one Vinyana goes away. That is separate. Let's not mix up things and get totally muddled up. Have you really understood for yourself what is Vinyana and why it is a magician? That's my question.
I can say that I have experienced the 6 Vijnana which is related to the 6 sense door. That much I have experienced.
If you have experienced that, then you will not have doubt on reflector and reflection.
Experience in the sense that it is arising and it is passing away when
No,
like
arising,
some
passing
bad
away,
thought.
you leave it. No, that you leave it. That is again theory. It is about first and foremost how it comes to be, how the consciousness come to be.
That I have not understood how the consciousness arises.
And then what have you understood on consciousness then? Then it arising, passing away is what you're
I
saying.
would suppose that like I'm practicing the Buddha, what Buddha said in that Dvita Vipaka Sutta, that when the bad thought arises in my mind, I see that the bad thought has arisen. When it passes away, I know that it is passing, it is passed away like this. So when the good thought comes
That
and the
is
bad
fine.
comes,
That is Dvida Vitakka Sutta. You're talking about thoughts. I am not at all talking about thoughts, Ashutosh. So let's first resolve these 5 senses. Have you been able?
Can-
Yes, Sachin.
Can I say Rupa is the food for Chakku Vinyana? And because of Chakku and Rupa are the Ahara, That's why Chakku Vijnana has arisen.
No,
Like
no,
that
no,
Buddha is asking.
no, no.
Tadaharam.
Correct. See that fuel, what we are talking about, tada ahara sambhavanti bhikkave passata. Ahara is not about the sight. Ahara is both the eye and the sight. It lacks
Yes, agree. Both.
both. And then the magic happens. Yes, are you?
I don't think I've penetrated too much into Vijnana, but today I got one clarification. So previously, when their sutta said the consciousness knows sweet and bitter and all that, I thought that is also cognition. I thought it's no different than cognition as coffee, because coffee is also cognition, sweet and sour is also cognition. But today I think I understand this raw, red and white, whether you cognize or not, consciousness already, distinguishes. But upon having the sweet and bitter, again the label of coffee came, and that is Namarupa. And then upon the Namarupa arising, consciousness cognize the Namarupa and feel this is indeed coffee, and it gets into a loop like that.
That's right. That's right. So, in all the Salayatana and all the Khanda, Sanyukta, if you take the example given, if you really watch, is about what? What is Vijnana? Chakka Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, Ghana Vijnana, Jivha Vijnana, Kaya Vijnana, Mano Vijnana. Then Vijnana, how does it samudaya? Namarupa samudayo, Vijnana samudayo. Namarupa nirodho, Vijnana nirodho. Clear? Now, where is the magic? That's my question. Where do you think is the magic? Because he says it's a magician. Maya upamancha vinyanam.
Magic is that at the point perception occurs.
No. No. Yes.
I think at least one level I can see is that when it's only water touching your body, but you think you're having a shower, that taking that shower is real is part of the magic.
Partially right. So before you forget, you need to know, which we have already spoken, what is Nama and what is Rupa. Very important. The Nama portion is the name of the object, not vilas. Whatever conventional naming you want to give. Whereas the Rupa, yes, Ashutosh, just a second. The Rupa is just a nominal form. There is no Rupa at all. Now, I'll give you an example. I see the bricks and mortar and all the things taken together, which is coming from the mud. So the consciousness recognizes not only the mud, it also recognizes the house. You got the point? It knows, but it knows not. It knows this is mud, but it knows not that it is not only mud. Now it is able to conceptualize and say that this is house. House has no entity by itself. It's just a nominal, it's a formal name with a nominal form. That is form only in the name. The house exists in the name.
Okay, so you are not saying house is perception.
No, I'm talking about Vijnana. See, the Nama Rupa Samudayo, Vijnana Samudayo. It is nothing to do with perception. We already finished perception. But since Vijnana we are talking about, so that in the Mahavedala Sutta, that's the reason that Sariputta is asked that question, can you separate it out? That this is Vedana, this is Sanya, this is Vijnana. And the answer is no. When the Vijnana comes, so the perception and feeling also comes. But if I really want to know how is Vijnana, when we say Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and that Vijnana, whatever we are talking about, I am trying to help you with how to understand Vijnana. How do you have a conscious experience? How did that house as a conscious experience come to be? Aren't you experiencing a house? That's my question. Are you experiencing it as brick and mortar, one level lower? Are you experiencing it as just mud? Or are you experiencing it as patavi? What are you experiencing?
House.
House. That's a magician. That's a Maya. Any concerns, any questions, any confusion? Yes, Ashutosh, you had raised the hand earlier also. Yes. Ashutosh, you are on mute if you are talking.
Okay, sorry, sir. So now we are talking about Nama and the Rupa, and you are saying that we are just put a label on something, and which like your name is Vilas, and you are not. If in reality you are not a Vilas, you are just five elements. But whenever I hear your name, your image will appear in my mind. The image of you will appear on my mind. The five elements will not appear on my mind. If the five elements appear, then I will not be able to perceive you as a Vilas. So on the practical level, it will be difficult to live a life. On practical level, if I see everyone as a five elements, Nama, I know that one level everyone is five elements. Correct? If I'm getting wrong, you can correct me. What I have understood with Nama Rupa, I can see that my mother, my father, all my brother, they are made of the five elements. Still, if I see, I have to differentiate between them. That he is my brother. I know that he is made of five elements. You are Vilas, sir. I know that you are also made of five elements. But when someone says Vilas, I will only perceive you. I will not perceive my brother. Correct?
Correct. Now,
So
yes.
when
Yes, go ahead.
okay, like this, when someone says house, someone says something like someone says brick, someone says house. I know that brick is also made of five elements. House is also made of five elements. Brick is also made of the mud, and the house is also made of the mud. But there is a difference between brick and the house. So I need to different to live a life on practical level. We need to have the differentiate between mud and the house. So in that case, what will you suggest? Like I have to see you Vilas as a Vilas here. That I have to put a label on you.
No, Ashutosh, the way of seeing, I don't deny that conventionally you should not look at me as Vilas, or conventionally you should not look at your brother or parents or whatever you just now spoke. The question here is, can you see the Maya? That's all is my question.
Can I say, simplify it by saying that, yeah, I can see the perception house. Yes, I can see the bricks. And somewhere in between, there is Nam Rupa or somewhere in between there is Vijnana. I need to get in between these two by practice.
No, that is the reason I'm telling you the practice is that two things should have happened to you. Number one, if you are doing amanasikara or animitta properly, then you can see the Vijnana.
Okay. I got it. So if I try to remove house from this experience,
You cannot.
I cannot.
You cannot till the time you have Indriya Samvara. Or rather, Indriya Gutta Dwara. Indriya
So can I say the practice? Can I say the practice is not to see the house, and if I succeed, I
It's
will
not about
experience
not
this.
to see the house. It is about seeing just a reflection because of something connected with it, which is the Vijnana. Like, I will just give you a simple example. You see your face, or some examples are there in the sutta, which talks about you seeing your own reflection in the water. Like in the Milinda Panha, where the king Milinda is discussing with Nagasena, and Nagasena says, in the chaya, are you able to see yourself? And he says, yes. It is fully decked with everything. Whatever the king is, so it is in the reflection. So he asks this question, are you that then? He says, no. In the same way, the eye and the sight and the ear and the sound, nose and the smell, body and the touch are not you, including the Vijnana. So the question now is, have I understood Vijnana? What is Vijnana? Yes, Sariu.
Yeah, I just had a clarifying question. So previously I was explaining taking the shower as real. So the cognition of shower was taken as real. You said it's partially right. And what is the other part that's not right?
The part which is right is the water dripping or coming on your hand or wherever it is. So there is an experience.
I think the partial right was the word he used, reality.
Yes.
We consider things as real, and that's why Vijnana is making it real.
Bhuta, make it very simple word in Pali. Bhuta. What has come to be. So when it falls on the body, where all the water is falling, there all you will have sensation. And where all the water is gone, there would be no sensation.
When we watch 3D movie, what we say, now it looks more real.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. I mean, whatever this coffee taste is, consciousness take it as real. And this is what I thought was the magician. And I think it's similar to what you've been explaining afterwards.
Correct. Now the thing is, we are talking about Maya Upamancha Vinyanam. The Upama is an example. The Maya is a magician. He's giving the magician example. So my question to all of you is, have you understood what is the magic there? That's all my question is. If you can properly answer to me, I will be very glad that you've understood Vijnana. So I took this sutta, sutta about Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta, is because he gives in a better way the example.
I thought the coffee example, that coffee was taken as real, is not different from the bricks and mortar example. I cannot see the difference between my understanding and what you've been explaining.
No, there's no difference in the understanding. Isn't it a magic?
It is
Yeah,
magic.
according to me, the making it real is the magic.
Yeah, that's what I understood too.
Yes.
So is that your question?
Yes, if you have then understood coffee not being there is treated as coffee, villas
Yes.
not being there is treated as villas. If you understand that much, you have done it. Now you will not be
Oh,
fooled.
we passed the exam.
No, no. If you really have understood, if you have really experienced it, you will get aha moment for yourself. Because the coffee is also perception. So if you take it as a perception, you will not get any aha moment. But if you see this magician making coffee, you will say, aha, now I understand how he does it. So have you? Yes, Ashutosh.
I guess what Ariu says is correct. When we see something, when we perceive something, we think it as a real. We perceive thing as a real, but it is not real. That so, in one sense, I can say that now I have understood some part of Vijnana. What Ariu says, like, and what you are explaining, that Vilas at one level I can see that is Vilas, and which is the creation of the Vijnana. You are not in reality you are not Vilas, but it is the perception of my Vijnana that I am perceiving you as a Vilas. Correct?
Again, you are using the word perception, which is sanya.
Sorry, Vijnana. My Vijnana is seeing you as a Vilas, which is not
Yes.
real.
So a body like this, when you are explaining, correct me if I'm wrong. A body sitting like this can be named whatever, but you are experiencing it as villas.
I think it looks like we are seeing that illusionary pictures, right? We can see the old lady and young lady,
Correct.
and I have attempted to see both at the same time, and I successfully did it in many pictures. So at that time, when I'm looking at those illusionary images, I always get that aha moment. Aha! Instantly I can see a young lady, and instantly I can see old lady together. So in between that, I always wonder it how I am able to see this, at what and how it is frequently changing from young lady to old lady, whereas picture is same.
Yes. So like that, are you able to see the vinyana?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah, I just want to share this fire that I have. I don't know if it helps anyone to understand. I have this fire at my house. It's not a real house fire. It's actually some lights at the bottom, and there's an LCD screen where the fire keeps going up. But when look at it, it feels like fire. But if you keep staring at, it start to see it's just light projected on the screen, and this fire goes away. Um, yeah, I was just staring at it. I was hoping it can help me understand. I don't know if it
Yes.
helps any.
Yes. Yeah, Ashutosh, you had raised hand again. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, like when we say country India, I'm just giving you an example of how we perceive wrong. I'm just giving you an example, like when we say society, and in the reality, the society do not exist. What exists is the group of people. We name it a society. In the same manner, and it is like illusion, and we fight for the society. But in reality, there is no society. There is no country like India exists. Only people, places exist, and we label it like India. We say a group of people or land, a group of people living in certain land, we call it India. So in reality, there is no India, and we are fighting for the name only. Correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So, my question again is that You have understood. I have no doubt. We have spoken over it, and you are exactly telling me that. Are you able to experience like that? If yes, if you have caught that person, then you would say, aha, I caught it. I caught the magician. Now he cannot fool me. That's the reason he says Maya Upamancha Vinyanam. You have caught the magician. So if I go to that section, that exact section, okay, se yathapi bhikkhave maya
Yeah.
karo va maya kara vante se, sorry, maya karante vasi va chatu mahapathe mayam vidam seya tameham chakkuma puriso passeya nijhayeya yoniso upari kheya तत्सतं पश्यतो निध्यायतो योनिसो उपपरीक्षतो रिक्तकन्येन वा खायेय तुच्छकन्ये वा खायेय असारकन्ये वा खायेय किन्हिसिया भिक्खवे मायाय saro. What it means in English is that, say yathapi, supposing bhikkhu, mayakaro va mayakarante vasi va, a magician or their apprentice were to perform a magic trick at the crossroads. I, as a clear eye, myself, Vilas is standing there and watching this magician perform at two places simultaneously. He will say, I'm going to bring out something, and he brings out that. Say, how did he do it? I'll again show you. So I brought both of them. How? Then I slightly peep into his way of working. And I find, aha, this is his trick. Like they would have kept vessels where it seems like the water is flowing and the water is getting drained and again flowing back, and this magician will say that I will, you, no matter how much you drain water, it is going to be get refilled, and I don't have anything to refill. Isn't it magic? And I peep into it and see what is he doing, and then aha, I caught you. Have you been able to do that? Is my question. In the same way, a bhikkhu sees and contemplates any kind of consciousness at all, past, future, present, internal, external, coarse or fine, inferior, superior, near and far, examining it carefully, and appears to them as completely void, hollow, and insubstantial. What substance could be there in a consciousness? Have you experienced of catching the thief, the magician? If yes, done. So the class is dispersed. Otherwise, food for thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got it, and I have experienced it quite a time, but not thoroughly in the sense that not continuously. If I wish, if I be careful, I can see that.
Correct. So what is missing here, Sachin, is that you don't have sati. Because the sati is missing, the sampajanya is missing. And because sati sampajanya is not there, means the sampajana kari hoti is missing. And that is missing, one second, is missing because of the Indriya Gutta Dwara has not been covered up. Yes, are you?
I have an intellectual understanding, but I think maybe relevant to share. I think to me, magician has two main tricks. The first trick is the wave of hand. Basically, he put your attention here. That's Ioniso Manasikara is where he put your attention. Where the real thing is Ioniso and he's happening on the back. He doesn't allow you to see that, where he used the wave of hand. The second thing is he does things really fast. And then he, in a slip of a second, he changes using his hand. So here on one side he used the illusion, the other side it changes so fast. And in the same way, I think consciousness connects and then immediately start to animate in a way that's so fast and it pulls your attention to the illusory nature of it. And in these two ways, it's, magician is the best analogy.
And another example I can give is this neuroscientist always says that the brain is cheating us. The reality that we are seeing, it actually 10 or 13% of the data has been received by the brain, and then rest of the space is being filled by it. There is no data. There is no data in the whole picture. But we feel that the whole picture is completely given by brain to us, and that even scientists have observed that the brain is cheating us.
Right. Fine. So the aspect what we need to practice. Again, we will continue on this Vijnana when we meet up on Saturday. But for now, for thinking, for practice, can you increase your sati so that you can catch the magician? Now, what does a magician does in this case? When I see this, like in the morning, Aryu was asking, when he said this, are you talking about us? He and Matt were there, and then I told that I don't talk to you at all. I talk to this guy sitting there. The illusion maker is here. Illusion is happening there. I am here, it is there. And then I create, I myself is sitting there. And that is an Maya. That figure, what is sitting inside the computer, through the camera, which has a complete reflection, is the Maya. In the same way, what is supposed to be sitting inside the body and feeling that I am this body is an illusion. Yes, Ashutosh. Ashutosh, you are muted and you are speaking.
Okay. Now I have understood, sir, what you are trying to say. That I am creating the image of you. I am creating image of myself also, and at the same time, I am creating my Vijnana is creating the image of you, which is not exactly you. It is my Vijnana is creating the perception of you.
Got
Correct?
it. You have understood now.
Can I practice like this? See, I am seeing the 5 element in front of me. Also, I am seeing Vilas, right? Back and forth. If I keep contemplating very quickly, I might catch up the Vijnana.
Yes, possible, but what Ashutosh is saying is right. If you are able to catch either one of them, the Vijnana goes away.
Okay.
Ashutosh.
Yes, Ashutosh, you raised your hand and you are again on mute.
No, sir,
Can you
I don't
repeat?
want to- that- that-
Can you repeat, Asutosh?
what I understood is that suppose I am talking to you as a person, okay, and now my Vijnana is creating a perception about you, okay. In reality, my perception, maybe you are a different person, a different kind of person, correct? Like suppose Avilas sir. Now I am seeing him So my Vijnana has created an image of Vilas sir, and maybe Vilas sir is not like my Vijnana, correct? Like he is different kind of person. Maybe my Vijnana has created a different kind of Vilas sir. So it is the magic of Vijnana.
Oh, so
And my Vijnana has also, yes.
your practice is doubting yourself, whereas my practice was teaching myself.
No, no, no. What should happen? I'll tell
No,
you. Otherwise, you both will get thoroughly confused. First, it creates you on one side. Then he creates the other on the other side. Meaning, it first creates Ashutosh. Then it creates Vilas. Yes, Ashutosh.
yes, sir. That's what I am saying. That my Vijnana is created the image of myself. I am thinking that I am like this. I am good. I am bad. It is all creation of my Vijnana. In the same manner, when I am seeing you, my Vijnana is creating the image of you. Like Vilasar is good person, or Vilasar is a bad person, or Vilasar is like this, Vilasar is like this. Creation of Jnana which can be totally wrong. You might be a different person. What I have perceived about you.
Yes, that is right. So now I'll give you another practical example what is going to happen in few weeks, exactly 2 weeks from today. Next Tuesday, we are in Bodh Gaya. And Wednesday, today, we would be again in Bodh Gaya. So when Aryu comes here on 3rd of July, Aryu has his own perception. Now coming to perception, which is driven by Vijnana. Aryu has made an image of Vilas, which is non-negotiable, non-destroyable. It's stable. It is Nichasanya in Vijnana. It has also created Aryu. It not only created Vilas, it has created Aryu. So when Aryu is coming, he is coming with the Vijnana of Aryu and Vijnana of Vilas in the mind. Both are mental objects. So when Aryu meets me in the airport, he forgets to see that the day I met in the video, I had beard. Now I have shaven. So he ignores it. Some more hairs have become grey. He ignores it. Some more mustache has gone grey. He ignores it. Wearing an yellow t-shirt here, but that day I would have been wearing some other t-shirt. That he ignores it. So this ignorance, dropping of something and adding something, is what the magician does. Like what properly put by Aryu, he will wave his hand, he will distract everything, and he'll start to make things pretty fast. In the same way, what the Vijnana does here is to ignore the gaps and patch it up.
Yeah, that's what exactly. I got it. And it was matching with what I was saying that try to see where I am doing it early guess, making a guess, and then finalizing that my guess is right.
Right. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the meeting because I've seen Vilas on and off for like 4 years on camera, and I've seen him in pictures. But seeing in pictures and seeing a real person is a different perception. So I'm pretty sure when I meet Vilas, he's going to be either taller or shorter or bigger or smaller than my current perception is. But then upon seeing him, immediately I'm going to update my Vijnana of, Vilas to say, how this is Vilas now. So all those are, thrown out. So this is Vilas now. So in the future, when I see Vilas, I'm going to start seeing him in, this new image which I saw that day.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's a magician. Now you caught the magician red-handed.
And I always think that perception, I don't want to miss that part. We need memory to do this, right? All this thing. We need the past memory to bring. At what moment this vijnana becomes perception and brings memory and just plays all with that?
Okay, good question. Last answer before I close. Recognize. Again, I repeat, recognize is a function of vijnana.
Nice. That's a nice way of explaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upon recognizing, updating the image is perception. Okay. And when the perception, that is when the update is, as the update is happening, so the feeling also happens of that what you are perceiving. So Aryu is going to feel Vilas on that day. And Vilas is also going to feel Aryu on that day if he is not having Yoniso Manasikara. He will recognize Aryu, update Aryu the way he thinks Aryu is based upon his look and whatever he is talking and all blah blah blah. Then feels Aryu. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna say, aha, this is the real Vilas, except it's not none of them are real. But my mind is gonna say this is the real Vilas.
Yes.
Except it's just creating another big.
So when I see the bricks, I cognize, and when I see the house, I recognize, right?
Yes.
And in seeing the house, I am learning lot of things because I have never seen a yellow house, for example. This house is yellow, but still it is a house, and I'm still saying this is a house, and the perception is house only, but this is a different experience altogether from all the houses I have seen.
Yes. So when there is a house, when there's an experience of an house, how can you possibly have anicca sanya?
Agree.
And hence I said it would be foolish enough to say that I am learning anicca sanya, anicca.
Yeah. All the time you are denying and sticking to the perception of house. You are always keeping it near to you that this is house.
Correct. So first you have to start with anatta, then dukkha, then what remains is anicca. Now if I were to conclude it, recognizing, if I stop, it turns itself into anatta. Cognition is okay. Recognition is not okay. Yes.
And I just want to bring the point about sati. So if your sati is so strong, it's like you staring exactly at this hand of the magician, at his hand where not the wave of hand, but the real hand. And then you're staring so closely, not allowing attention to move a little bit. Then you can see it happens quickly.
Yes.
So
it will slow down. Then the magician is no longer a magician. You can see all his actions.
And the practice is not to see the house, not to not see the house, right? The practice is to see the vijnana. So you are still seeing the house along with the awareness that it is the vijnana making the house.
No.
Otherwise, we are going to meet an accident.
Yes. So let me modify a little bit. You are watching the magic of house being created out of mud.
Exactly. That makes very much sense. Otherwise, we will look like a mad people in the society.
No. When I see you have visitors, you have to drop down. I have to sleep, so I have to drop down also. I'll take another 2 minutes and will certainly drop out. Number one, when I see Aryu in the airport, I can't say that I don't know who this person is. The magic is Aryu. A full-blown person called Aryu who doesn't even exist, but it exists. It exists in the passport. It exists in whatever he is having as a document. But in reality, there is no Aryu. In the same way, in reality, there is no Vilas. That's the magic. That's the real magic. Two Vinyanas, not the 6 Vinyanas. Two Vinyanas meet together, and they are only one Vinyana. There's only one Vinyana in two parts. One as Vilas, and one as Aryu. When you see both of them as Vinyana, then the perception is ekagata, oneness, not two-ness. One Aryu, one Vilas. This closely matches to Advaita, but beyond Advaita, actually.
Got it.
So in airport, it will be nice. So don't try to pretend Aryu that you are not Aryu, you're not seeing Vilas. So that's okay. Let's be natural. But back of thing is, we both are magicians. You are playing a role of an American. I am playing a role of an Indian. However, there is no American. There is no Indian. Got it? And what you're bringing is goods which can be burnt completely. All that you're bringing can be put in a bonfire, gone. Right? So what's the value of it? Bonfire value. What's the value of this body? Bonfire value. And that staying in that state forever is Nibbana. Okay, good night and good day to you, Aryu, and we'll meet on Saturday. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.